Now, in the course of while I've been doing that, I have worked with loads and loads of authors. I've been privileged to be involved in the publishing of over 40 titles now. And quite often, whenever I speak to a lot of those authors, at some point in their journey, they've got stuck. Whether it's during the writing phase, whether it's during editing, whether it's during publishing, something has come along that they either didn't know what they were doing, or didn't know what was supposed to happen next, or something has come along that's easily knocked them off track. And because of that, it can make the writing and publishing process a bit daunting, a little bit scary, and people sometimes wonder, why am I putting myself through this? Why am I doing it? And today, I want to share with you the one biggest key thing that will help make the process so much easier, so much more enjoyable, so much simpler to get through from start to finish. I'm not going to kid you, it is still a lot of work. However, if you do this one thing, that lot of work will be a lot less stressful. And that biggest tip is treat your book like a business. We're all business people in this room. We know that when you put time and effort and planning into your business, everything gets easier, yeah? Books are no different. And this applies no matter what genre you're writing for, whether you're writing a book to support your business, or whether you're writing a children's book, whether you're writing a novel, writing your biography, memoirs, poetry books, it doesn't matter. This one tip can help anybody publish any book. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the basics of what you need to do to plan out your book and treat it like a business. You've probably all seen them online before, the simple one-page business plans, okay? You don't need anything special. You don't need War and Peace. You don't need the big, heavy business plans that you prepare for your businesses to go to banks or to get investors. This can be really, really simple, and it all falls into answering 6 really simple questions. Who, what, where, when, how, and why. Answer those questions, everything else becomes so much easier, so much more straightforward. So, first question, who? Quite simple. Who is your target audience? Who is the main reader that you want to go after? And don't be afraid to really, really laser focus this. A lot of people do find this a bit counterintuitive, and I fell into this exact same trap when I started my business of, well, if I laser focus on just those key people, aren't I ignoring all of this other potential business back here? No, you're not. When you're writing a book and when you publish a book, you're not preventing anybody from buying your book. The reason why you want to focus on your specific target reader is because they're your VIPs. They're the ones that you really, really want to please, that you really, really want to get your message across to. And if you know in detail who they are, then you can write for them. You can make sure that your language appeals to them. You can make sure that your content is targeted to them. You're not preventing anybody else from reading your book, or buying your book, or even enjoying your book. But what you're doing is you're making sure that your VIPs are happy. And I would focus in on this as detailed as you want. I know some authors that have even gone so far as to give their ideal reader a name, an avatar, what they do for a living, what's their hobbies, are they married, how many kids have they got, where do they work. All of these things can really help you focus who you're writing for. The next question, what? What do you want to tell them? What do you want to say? What does your book need to be about? And then this can help you flesh out what your actual skeleton of your book is going to be. Once you start getting into this question, you start building out what your chapters are going to be, what your headings within those chapters are going to be. And by doing this, once you get to the point of writing, all you're doing is filling in the blanks. It makes it so much easier if you know from the very beginning exactly what your book's going to contain. It makes the process much more, much simpler. Next question, where? So where do you want your book to be available? Where is your target reader, if you know specifically who they are, where do they shop? Do they prefer to shop online, or do they prefer to have to go into a bookstore and actually leaf through a book? This also helps you decide on where you're going to do your marketing. Where do they hang out? Are they social media people, or are they networking? Are they events? Then those sort of things. Answering where helps you figure out a lot of the logistics in terms of where you're going to market and where you're going to actually have your book available for. That's going to help you sort out things like distribution contracts and things like that. Next question, why? This is a really, really big one. It's the one that a lot of people leave out. And there are two parts to this. The first why is, why should your readers bother? Why should your readers buy your book as opposed to somebody else's who may have written a book about the same subject? And when you bring this back to business context, this is basically a USP. What makes you as an author unique? What makes your book unique compared to other books in your genre or in your particular subject? What is going to be that one thing that's going to make your readers think, yes, I definitely need that book? Why is also your why. I'm going to be completely open and honest with you. Writing and publishing a book is difficult. There is lots of work involved. And there is going to come a point where you hit a speed bump. It happens on any journey. You're going to come across something that's going to make you think, oh, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this? If you know why you're doing it for your own reasons, it makes it just that little bit easier to get over that hump and get you through to the end. Why can be anything, and it can be really, really specific to you. Oh. So, do you want to raise your profile? Do you want to use this as a business card to promote your business? Do you want to get speaking engagements? Or is it just about the money and you want royalties? That's fine if it is, by the way, because if you do books properly, you can earn money from self-publishing. So it doesn't matter what the reason is, as long as you have a reason and you know in your head why you're doing it. It's going to make things so much easier when the going gets tough. Next question is how. How is simply the logistics. Okay, so how are you going to publish it? Are you going to go through a literary agent, try and get yourself a traditional publishing deal, or are you going to self-publish? If you're going to self-publish, are you going to go through a publishing platform like Spark or CreateSpace, or are you going to self-distribute and get a pallet load of books and then decide how you're going to get them out that way? Knowing that in advance is just going to help you prepare along the way. How are you going to afford it? So if you're going to self-publish, there is costs involved that you're going to have to shell out front. If you know in advance what those costs are, then you can start saving for them, start planning for them, making sure that you know where that money is going to come from, and then also know how long it's going to take you to recoup that money back in the end. And also, how are you going to market it? This is basically your marketing plan. Where are you going to market? What's your message going to be? Are you going to pay for marketing? Are you going to do free guerrilla marketing? Knowing all of this stuff in advance, A, it means that you can start marketing it straight away, so that you're building momentum while your book's in production, so that when your book is available, you can just open up the doors and say, right, come and buy my book, it's available now. You've already built up that interest and that intrigue, which can really, really help in pre-sales. And the final question, when? This is a key one that a lot of authors just completely neglect. Writing takes time. You have to give yourself time to write a book well. And knowing how you write is a really, really key step. Is it something that you're just going to build sort of, 30, 40 minutes a day into, or do you need time to get going, in which case you need to set aside big chunks of time, maybe even taking a writing retreat, taking yourself away on holiday for a couple of days, weekend, even a week, and just concentrating on absolutely nothing but your book. Knowing how you write, especially if writing doesn't come naturally to you, is going to make this process just that little bit easier, so that you're catering to the way you work. This helps you also work out just a general schedule. So how long is it going to take you to write a book? So that in the pre-marketing that I talked about previously, you've got a rough idea in your head as to roughly when your book's going to be available. Because there's no point building interest if people then come to you and say, oh, sounds fantastic, when can I buy? Oh, I don't know. But if you've got an idea, even if it's months in advance, you can say, no, not too sure yet, but I'm aiming for March next year. You can at least then give people time to know when to start looking for that buying sign. And once you've got those questions sorted, you can then actually put a schedule together for yourself. If you're like me and you need deadlines in order to do something and get something done, having a schedule that's got actual concrete dates on it is just going to make it that little bit easier when the going gets tough and you need that extra incentive. You give yourself deadlines, it just incentivizes you to get it done and actually get it out there. So putting a plan together helps for a lot of different reasons. It gives you clarity, and it gives you focus. And those are the two key things that are going to help you get your book over the finish line. But most importantly, having a plan is going to help you overcome those roadblocks and those writer's blocks and things that are going to come up along your journey. It just helps you get through it. And I'm speaking about this completely and totally from experience. I'm in the middle of writing and publishing my book now, hoping that it's going to be available about March time. But I made the classic mistake of starting my book before I did this. And I got stuck. But I tell you what, as soon as I did that business plan, all of the blocks went away. And it doesn't need to be anything specific. That's the business plan for my book. Okay? Really, really straightforward, just notes scribbled down. The headings are not necessarily the questions that I've mentioned, but they answer every single one of those questions. So from experience, this is the best thing that you can do. If you are thinking about writing a book and you've got that question in your head of, okay, what do I do now? This. I'm Sam Pierce from SWATT Books, and I help make self-publishing professional. Any questions?
Wow.